welcome to the final edition of our Dragons of Tarkir complete set review. I am Evan Irwin.
I'm still Brad Nelson.
All day.
All ever.
All set review. And then you're Bard Narson.
Yes.
But we are here to talk about the Dromoka cards. We're here to talk about the green cards. We're here to take a look and see what they did with the final colors / some artifacts and lands and stuff we'll talk about, which would be sweet. But we begin with Airy Bowmasters.
Harry Bowmasters.
I like him being hairy.
Yeah.
Harry Bowmasters. 4-mana 3/4 reach is a fine dude. Megamorphing it as a 4/5 reach is even better, particularly when you have all the 3/3 or the 4/4 dragons that you're able to get. You know, when you megamorph them, they turn into 4/4s. Like, that's important. Those are important stats. You know, the fact that it has more toughness than power, that's very important. And if you had to run this out on turn 4, it's okay.
No, I mean, it's great. Like, Giant Spider has always been a decent card. The Flyers in this format are going to have a really tough time getting over the 4 toughness.
Right.
And once this has the 5th toughness from Megamorph, it's not getting flattened at all, and only in combat,
Right.
And stuff like that. So this is a premium green creature. I think that this is going to be one that you're going to want access to at least one every single draft, much like an Obzon guide in an Obzon deck, or
Right.
a Saddle Brute or whatever it's called in a Teamer deck.
Oh, yeah, man. Saddle
Or it's not Saddle Brute. That's the 4.
That was the black one, yeah.
Yeah.
That had Raid or whatever.
Yeah, the Teamer for the 5/5 Trample. That guy.
That guy.
That's what
all
it was
I can
named.
see is that, like, the wolf, that huge creature thing running.
Yeah.
That's all I got in my mind. Either way, you know, you pick it early, you play it always, and it's good.
I just want to know what dragon that one is, because that's a sweet dragon that doesn't exist.
No, that dragon's dead, dude. That's
It's
why.
dead?
That's why.
Oh, because they killed it?
Oh, right. Oh. Now, the Artillerists, the Inoc Artillerist, is a 3-mana 4/1, and if you somehow give it a +1/+1 counter, it's a 5/2 with reach, and that's neat.
So I guess now what you're saying is the 1/1 counters are arrows? Because that's what this flavor is.
I mean, I guess.
I mean, he's just sitting there waiting. Like, all he's doing is just waiting to be like, can somebody please give me an arrow?
Somebody
so I can
please.
shoot this, yeah.
I don't know, dude. I think he's just waiting to jump up there himself and just be like, screw it! This card is bad!
This card ain't bad.
This card's not great.
I mean, it works really well. Teamer Battle Rage. I mean, it's a Gore guy that was already decent play.
You're talking about the red guy?
Yeah, Goreswine?
Yeah, Goreswine.
Yeah, I mean, it's just another Goreswine, but, like, this works really well with Teamer Battle Rage from the previous set, and...
You like it a lot more than I do.
Well, it's a 4/1 for 3 mana. It trades with a lot of things.
It does trade with a lot of stuff, which is nice.
I mean, this format is all about, like, really obscure and random power and toughness shifts. So, like a 4/1 and a 4/2 are practically the same card in a lot of situations, but in some situations they're worse or better. And 4 power, though, has been proven to be very good. It's going to help the Ferocious cards from Fate Reforged.
And that's sweet.
Yeah.
Like, this is just something I don't think you pick early by any means. You're going to get it late.
First pick. Every time. Who cares if you open an Elder Dragon? No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Trollsies.
When it gets late in the night, I get a little goofy.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
You know, these things run late. It's fine. We can say cards are good when they're not good. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not terrible. It's just not great.
No.
It's not something I'm excited to play with. Now, I am excited to play with Survivalists because he answers a lot of problems. Megamorphing for 2 mana is always very good. Restoring enchantments or artifacts is always very good. Now, this is one of those where, like, back, many sets ago, it was like if you got a Naturalize in Sealed, particularly in Sealed, you should really kind of play it because because even if you didn't know what artifacts were that good or that playable or enchantments were that good or that playable, you would be surprised at how how much utility you got out of that Naturalize and how much it surprised your opponents when you could actually answer their artifact or enchantment. And I feel this creature is very similar, except it leaves you with a 3/2 efforts over.
Yeah, and there's multiple cards in this format. The blue one that makes something a 0/2, a pacifism. Like, there are enchantments that are going to be messing with creatures. And so this is going to be able to be a great main deck card because it's just a practical bear. It's a 2-powered 2-drop that you're going to need on curve. It turns into a 3/2, which is fine. Practically irrelevant, like, from a 2/2, but the ability to just come up, blow up a permanent, get some card advantage is always big. And it's a big blowout when you get to do it in combat.
Oh, absolutely. And I would just, it's one of those, again, like we talked about with the Ire Shaman, where you don't always have to megamorph this.
No.
It's okay if you don't. It's all right if you just, like, I need it on turn 2 for, as a turn 2 beat face guy and just beat face with him.
Yep.
That's what you do. Assault Formation. Now, this is a really, really cool card. This is the first time since Lorwyn, and I think that's like 7 or 8 years ago now, since they had this ability that says the trigger assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Now, Doran During the Siege Tower, which is where this ability came from, it actually did it for all creatures, not just yours, all creatures. And so you kind of, the fact that it's kind of one-sided, which is really sweet, you know, like, if nothing else, I can only imagine how much fun the casual wall decks are. Like,
Yeah.
they have to be super fun.
What do you know? A card that this combos super well with in Constructed? It combos
listening.
super well in Standard. Mardu Ascendancy.
Really? Oh, yeah, because you sack it and give all +0/+3. Yeah, that's where they had, like, the turn 3 wins or turn 4 wins or
Doran and
whatever.
Mardu Ascendancy, yeah.
Exactly. I remember those, and that's really sweet. So, you know, it also has abilities on it that are just like, play it with your wall deck. We know you want to play Wall of Ice with this, so put 1 green mana and you can let that guy attack, you know? Like, it also has a pump ability built in as well. Like, it's really sweet, and, you know, these are the types of cards that I don't think are very competitive, but I think are incredibly fun.
Yeah.
These are super fun. Now that was talking about Constructed. Now, when you get into the limited realm, is this actually a deck that you could draft if you open this thing?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Guess,
I don't think so, but I'm
to be fair, giving toughness boost and then you only deal toughness and they don't is pretty annoying.
Could be decent.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you know, we're going to go through other green creatures and we'll see sort of our toughnesses or whatever. But, you know, all I'm saying is this is because, and what happened with Doran is that everyone, like, no one knows how to play with that ability in play. Everyone forgets or everyone screws it up and it's just like, oh, wait, his toughness, not his, oh, God. And then, you know, it really was awesome because you could kind of mess with your opponents in ways that are very rare. Again, this is the second card of all time that has this ability. And when you play it, everything just, you know, up is down and left is right, and no one knows how in the world.
I think
cards
this
work
one
anymore.
will be disguised better than Doran, though, because Doran is literally just an 0/5 that you're attacking with. It's very easy to remember it's still in the toughness.
Right. Well, it wasn't so much Doran; it was everyone else. You know? It was all the other creatures. You know, like your 3/4 attacks or whatever, or your 2/4 attacks, and they're just like, all right, sweet, block it with my 3/3, and then you're like, it's dead, and they go, oh God, you know what I mean? Like that was that moment that happened all the time. So, you know, I would love to say this could see limited play, but I think it's probably just going to mess you up more than it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it could be a great sideboard card in board stall matchups, though.
Could be sweet. Again, I don't know. This is one of those, like, it's a total mystery, super question mark. But from what I can tell, because they made the cool ability, and then they made the ability for your walls to attack, and then they gave you another ability to make your dudes go big.
It finally makes that 5/2 from Fate Reforged, you know, be good. You know, oh wait, no, because then it's only two
only
damage.
2 power.
That card's still terrible.
The end. Atarka rather, Beast Breaker. He's breaking the beast. He's a 2-mana tutor. This guy is awesome. This guy's always playable. Like, if you hit Formidable, high five. And if you hit Formidable, they're never going to block it. And if they do, they have some sort of plan to give it Death Touch.
Also,
or
it's not once a turn. So if you have it in 10 mana, you get to double pump him. So, yeah, this is just premium creature that you're going to want in every single aggressive deck.
Yep. If you're playing aggro, if you're playing green, pick it early, play it always.
Yep.
Super good. Avatar of the Resolute. Oh, man. How about that green mana cost?
It is so difficult to evaluate this card. Like, I think that it could potentially see some standard play in some weird, like, aspect of Hydra mono green deck with Suruk, because it plus Suruk is already turning formidable on.
Okay.
But it's
I like the
bad.
well. There's a 2 green card that's a 2/3 that when you reveal a dragon turns into a 3/4.
Yeah.
I like that card.
Yeah, but it's green dragons aren't that good.
well, I don't like 2 mana 3/2s.
Well, it has reach and trample.
It's got weird abilities on it. It's got a whole bunch of really strange abilities that, if you have the right board state, this card is crazy good. And if you don't, it's not good at all.
It's still 3/2 for 2.
All right, still
It's
okay.
not that great, but
It's not bad. It's just not great.
Yep.
Meh. Circle of Elders. 4 mana 2/4s with vigilance even. Okay.
So once you've got a power in play, what you need is more mana to put more power into play. That's how Magic works.
You know, if this sort of helps you turn on your Megamorph cards, like because Megamorph costs $1 million and it's not that difficult to get to Formidable,
Yeah.
maybe. Like, you know, you need 2-3 power guys after this one to make it tap for 3 mana, which
Or
is
1 6-power guy.
and that's cool, but, you know, like, and maybe that's sort of where this guy fits in. It's like, because it has vigilance, you know, so it can both attack for the turn and then, or it can both attack and then in the middle of the combat step, tap itself for 3 mana to use your Megamorph ability.
Yep.
Like, I think
I mean, that's
really
where
cool.
it's at, yeah.
I actually think this card's pretty good.
I do too.
Yep.
I mean, I'm just making a joke. Because
Oh.
you need your mana, you need to be able to do that stuff. And you just go like 2-drop, 3-drop into this, play a guy, and then you probably have enough mana to flip up the morph or
Right.
play another spell or even make a morph.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, this guy has a lot of play, very powerful, may not look that great because, again, I think everyone kind of hates on Formidable. It feels like,
Really, I think it's great. I think it's easy to get
well,
to.
you're like the only person who's like just gushed over that thing because everyone else is just like, ugh, you're never going to get to 8 power. If you're 8 power, it's just a bunch of win more. And I'm like, today's standard, we get to Formidable like by blinking our eyes. Like,
Yeah.
we're just boop, 8 power. Like, it just happens. And so,
8-powered creature alone.
yeah, and, it has trample and flying and it's ridiculous. Yeah, that's what happens. Good card. I don't like, first picking a card like this, but I certainly want a card like this in my deck.
No, it's another one of the role players. Like, you're gonna pick it up and you're gonna be happy about it once you're already in like some green-red deck.
Yep, it's super sweet. Collected Company. Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
This is an instant.
It is
very
instant.
important. It looks at 6 cards, not 5, so that is more than 10% of your deck by the time you get to play
Has
it.
Chapin written about this? We need to know the numbers.
No,
He has not.
but it would be really sweet to know them, so we can just
Yeah.
rattle it off and sound really smart. But being able to put 2 of the creature cards with 3 or less among them on the battlefield,
Yeah.
that's great. It's only 1 green to cost. That's important. Be able to put Coursers, Goblin Rabble Masters.
Mantis Riders.
Mantis Riders.
Savage Knuckle Blades.
Okay,
Satyr Wayfinders.
I like it.
Elvish Mystics.
All right.
Elvish Sunblades. Sunblade Mystics. Sunblade Elf.
What?
I'm trying to figure out the name of it. The
It's
green
Sunblade
2/2
Elf, yeah.
Sunblade Elf.
I don't. And you went too far.
I went too deep.
We should have stopped.
Oh.
Okay, it's okay.
All right, let's go to modern.
Ooh, modern, you
Yeah.
say?
Get some Cluestone, or I always call it Coldstone Creamery. I don't remember the card. The Coldstone or whatever. The one that whenever you play creature, you can bounce a creature with the same spell.
Oh, the Curio, the Coldstone Curio.
Coldstone Curio. I always
Yeah.
call it Coldstone Creamery.
Of course
But
you do.
yeah, but it's like you can play it with elves, like this card with elves with Eternal Witness. Play it, get the witness, get it back, get another guy.
It's instant speed, guys. That is the key word.
Yeah, I mean, just think about this. Let's jump on the magical Christmas land, or let's take a trip to it, and let's just say our opponent played End Hostilities.
As they do.
Our board is gone. But
Oh.
we have 4 mana.
Yep.
We cast Collected Company.
Uh-huh.
We look at 1 card, land. Another Collected Company. Man, we shouldn't have played 4.
Dude, why'd you do
Yeah,
that?
an elf,
All right.
a Goblin Rabble Master.
Here we
All
go.
right, we're
All
starting.
right.
We're starting
I'm feeling
right.
good. I'm feeling good.
Goblin Rabble Master.
Oh, I'm feeling really good.
Ham sandwich because we're dealing 12 damage next turn.
Ham sandwich, y'all.
Yeah,
It's great.
we're dealing 12 damage next turn.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
There's so many combinations actually to where people are just like, control is so good. And I'm like, after post Wrath, like there's so many ways in Standard to just 4 damage minimum. You were taking 4 minimum.
just happening.
Yeah.
Just deal with it. 6 card, like the 2 things that jumped out at me is instant and 6 cards and not 5. A lot of times when you see an effect like this, they always go 5 cards.
Yep.
But when they go 6 cards, when they push it 1 more, that's just enough. Should be just enough to get them into some
Fixes
constructive format.
insight. Yep. There we are.
No. But
6 cards.
I like the fact it was 6 cards.
No, yeah, no. This card is actually going to see play. I don't know where. I've been thinking about it. There's a lot of homes for it. There's a lot of problems with it, though, in my opinion, because every time I want to build a deck around it, I don't get that many slots for interactive spells. And then I just envision myself just dying to a Rabble Master. It's like, I want to play this in Rabble Master. And then I just can see me dying to a Rabble Master trying to play this card.
Right. You play this card and you whiff or
Yep.
whatever. For whatever reason, your small percentage of time you're whiffing, and you're just like, oh, I just died to that thing. If this had been a removal spell, I'd have been okay here.
Yep.
Okay. Card is really good, though. So how is this card in Limited? Because in Constructed, obviously, you can build your deck around this
Terrible
thing.
Limited.
Limited
Terrible.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, unless you have, like, a ton of small guys, but you don't want a ton of small guys. That's another problem with this card is, like, if you play it, you have to play a ton of small guys. And so, like, and you want to play mana guys to accelerate you.
Okay.
And maybe you don't have to play mana guys. But so what happens is you just draw a lot of tiny guys in the late game. Right? Because you don't have an
Well.
actual curve.
Sure.
So I don't think this is a good limited card.
Oh, well, that's okay. It can be Constructed only.
Yeah, you can just draft it and put it in your binder, though.
Nice. It's going to be worth
Take
something.
out a different rare and put it in your deck.
There you go.
I'm kidding.
Don't
no
do
cheating.
that, you bunch of cheaters.
No, they're not cheaters.
They're not cheaters. We're just being silly.
Reverse Ferocious.
Oh, Colossodon Yearling. He wants a 3-mana 2/4. You don't want a 3-mana 4/2. That'd be a really sweet grizzly bear, dude.
Yeah,
You want your 3-mana 2/4s.
I guess so. I don't think I do.
Card's bad.
Yeah, it's not that good. I mean, I don't really get it. I don't get it at all. Is this just the joke about the Alpine Grizzly? And now that the now that they had to get tougher because they had to fight Dragonfire or something.
I don't know. I think it's the flavor text is hilarious though. It's like with a gentle flip from a dragon, it quickly becomes meal in a bowl. That's hilarious. That's the best part about this card. Is that it's got cute flavor text. Moving on. Conifer Strider, 4 mana 5/1 with hexproof.
Hate it.
That is interesting.
I hate it
Why?
because I hate hexproof.
Okay.
They just print one wrong move, and all of a sudden, we just have, well, to be fair, we have Crackling Doom, and we have that Black Edict too, so we're good.
I'm not worried about this guy in constructed by any means. I'm just like, unlimited. That's really neat.
I mean, I'm
That-
pretty sure this is very playable.
Yeah, it helps you turn on Formidable. It's generally cheaper like than your Algae Gharial or whatever it was from back in the Shards days. Had hexproof. Remember that one? Every time you attacked, put a counter on it or something.
Yeah.
Card was sweet. So yeah, it lets you kind of pick your battles, turn on Formidable very easily, and it's a 5/1. Like they have to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Dross Crocodile at the same stats without hexproof that has seen some play before.
Yeah.
And more importantly, I brought it up already, but it's like very important to the limited format. I think it's even going to be more so in this one. Teamer Battle Rage is going to go from kind of like a card that you have to take and hope you get your cards to it's a third pack. Like if you're the guy that's still trying to play the ferocious game plan,
First pick.
like yeah, you just have to slam those things, or you will because no one else wants them.
Maybe.
Like
I don't know. I think the secret's kind of out about Team War.
no, the secret's out, but you have to take it first and then build around it. Whereas if you're the only guy drafting all these high power guys,
You get it
like,
by default, basically.
Yeah, because no one else wants it.
Right. It's really cool. These are the types of cards that may look bad because of the one toughness or whatever, but always play better. They always
Yeah.
play better than I expect them to. Every single
Except
time.
when they don't. Welcome to Magic.
Thanks, Brad. Death Mist Raptor. This card, I actually expect this thing to be huge in standard.
I do too.
The recursion of this card is not to be underestimated. The fact, and again, know this out of the Magic show because I love this card. When you mill two, I mean, let's say you have, Satyr Wayfinder or whatever,
Yep.
and then you flip up your Rattleclaw Mystic and you have 2 in your graveyard. You can now morph both of them, and your opponent has to have a sweeper. Has to, because if they kill one of them, you megamorph the other and get the
Bring
other
the
one
other
back
back,
again.
yeah.
And that is awesome. That just basically assures that Anger of the Gods is going to see plenty of play. I absolutely expect there to be either another Anger of the Gods type effect or a burn spell that exiles them and deals 4 damage and exiles, just to make sure that this thing doesn't get out of control. This is the type of card that, because of the recursive nature of it, I think could really start to take over a metagame.
Also, it's 2 green, right? So it works well with Devotion.
Right.
And who cares if we don't play other morphs? We have Masteries and we have Whisperwoods.
Yeah.
All these cards are still good.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, like, this might just be the Fleecemane Lion, the better Fleecemane Lion in the old green-white deck, yeah.
Mhm.
And so I think that this card is great. I think it has a very cheap price tag right now. To be fair, I tried to put 4 into my order that I made, and they're all sold out.
Of course.
So I should have gotten them before that, so now they're just going to jump again.
Yep.
But, like, this is a card that you should pick up early because I really expect it to be, like, I guess a sleeper, but it
I
shouldn't
would
be a
say-
sleeper because it's a 3/3 for 3 Death Touch. Like, we already have seen the Herald guy, or Heir of the Wilds, like,
Yep.
be a main deckable card in this format.
2 mana, 2/2.
And this is a 3/3 for 3, like,
that recurs itself
Yeah.
as friends over and over again, and you want to mill yourself in these milling decks, and it works perfectly there.
yeah.
And like between the Mastery of the Unseen and the Whisperwood stuff, like this card is really, really good. Don't sleep on this one. Because this card is fantastic. It is amazing and limited. First pick easily. Play it always. Like your opponent's going to be driven nuts by this card. It is great. Den Protector, I like this card a whole lot. No one's talking about this card. Like actual zero.
That's weird. I mean, I'm talking about it. I don't know where it goes because you don't want to play a ton of them, just for the fact that it's really slow.
Sure.
But I do think that this is the type of card that I want to play with, due to the fact that like it just lets me witness things back from my yard. And I understand that sounds basic, but like there's a lot of situations where you want your downfall, or your Elspeth, or something like it's a body.
Right.
You can morph it against a control deck, flip it up, grab a Thoughtseize them again. Now you have a 3/2 in play. Like you got your 2-for-1. It's another Read the Bones.
Sure.
So I think that this is good against a lot of slow, grindy mirror match type things, and potentially like a one of in the green-white devotion decks, just to give you access to one more card that like if you lose like your Teamer Sabertooth or your Ring, like you just get to play one of this. allows you to play other one-ofs.
Yeah.
Because that deck is degenerate and can go through the entire thing.
That deck is ridiculously degenerate. All I know is I would not be surprised by seeing 3 or 4 of this card in a deck. The ability
It
to
is slow, and you have to play with a ton of removal and a ton of ways to like
Sure.
keep the game really, really, really under check.
and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
If like when I megamorph this and I get back a couple of Death Mist Raptors and my Thoughtseize or my Hero's Downfall, like okay with that scenario.
Yeah.
For only 2 mana. Like you don't have to megamorph for 3, you know, you only megamorph for 2. Like again, that to me, those little tiny pushes I think are important.
I agree.
And that stuff matters. And limited, this card is freaking-tastic, and you always play it. You can easily first pick it and run it and enjoy it. But you know, in constructed, I absolutely see this being a play.
Oh, I'm very confident it'll see play, just like the Ire Shaman. Like they're both going to see play. I think that
they pushed them in the right way.
and Stratus Dancer too. I think all these will eventually see play in certain ways. These are like they're difficult to evaluate because of how powerful the cons cards are, but we have to understand that this is going to be the first set in a new standard eventually.
Yep.
And so a lot of these decisions are going to be made because of that. Like, you know, we said Underworld Connections was unplayable, or I did.
You did.
Well, it was
No, it wasn't.
until rotation.
It was played before rotation, but it
In
took
like one of in sideboards. That doesn't count.
we just made a bet on Sarkham's Triumph, and it counts there.
Which is stupid.
Hey, who made the bet?
You did?
Here we are.
And I did.
I like how you lead. He leads. He leads. Card is good. Card is very, very good. Take it, love it, play it. Display of Dominance. That card, man, that picture's freaky.
It is freaky. It is freaky, and that's what I consider all blue permanents to look like.
All right.
But this is the card that I've been waiting for, like, for so long.
Why?
Because it kills Ashiok. Do you know how, as a green, like, Devotion Mage, how you're so scared of that card? It also kills Narset. It also protects you from removal spells.
Nice, nice, nice.
These are all very important things as a Devotion Mage.
Yay! Like, these are the 2 modes that you want against a blue-black control player.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice that if the second one was just straight Autumn's Veil, so you could stop a counterspell too, but then it would be like a third mode. It would probably be a little too powerful.
It seemed a little too good at that point.
Yeah.
But, and obviously this doesn't stop everything, and it only destroys non-creature permanents, blah, blah, blah.
Who cares? It kills Whip, kills Ashiok. I'm good.
We're good there.
Yeah,
We're
I
happy.
mean, Ashiok has been one of the most dominant cards against green decks forever, like Courser-based decks, and now you can just play a card in your sideboard for 2 mana and just kill it, and
Just
it's done.
get it.
It's done. You don't have to worry
Awesome.
about attacking it. Like,
And much like the others, this is a sideboard card and limited. You don't have to pick it highly, but if you have it and you're playing against black-blue, then it's cool.
but it's a non-creature permanent. It's not a creature permanent.
Well, mainly it's about the permanents you control can be the target. Like this counters a
Sure,
removal
yeah.
spell. You know what I mean? This counters a bounce spell.
If you
Like,
don't have those targets, then it's valuable. But pretty much this one is just hammer home, standard all-star. Gonna see sideboard play.
it was made for it, and it should do just fine. Dragon Scarred Bear. Yeah, he's scarred. He used to be 3 mana 4/2. Now he's a 3/2, and he's pissed. He's pissed.
Oh, is this Alpine Grizzly?
It looks like it, and he can regenerate now though. Look at that man. He's oh god, that picture's badass,
He's
man.
been messed up.
He's just like he just got mauled, son.
Yeah.
He thought he was doing the mauling. No,
drag-
sir.
That dragon picked the wrong fight. Or is that the Sarkhan dragon or the Surak dragon or the Surak bear trying to come back to get revenge?
I don't know. That'd be sweet though.
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is this is a really sweet picture. It's a really cool card. Being able for 3 mana to have 3 power with Formidable, that is easily done in the green deck. You know,
Yeah.
I think his regeneration ability turns on really quickly and becomes really powerful as a result.
Yeah. No, this is a very good card.
Yep. It's good. You'll like it. You'll play it. You don't have to first pick it or anything, but you'll always be happy to have it. Dromoka's Gift is 5 mana bolster 4. I like this card a lot.
I mean, sure.
I mean, the fact that the pump is forever, that's one thing.
Yeah, I agree.
And the fact that generally what happens in most combats is that your opponent really kind of jumps on the lowest toughness, you know? Like, oh, sweet, I can, use this to kill this guy because he's only has 3 toughness or 2 toughness or whatever. And this is the type of card that just completely wrecks them in those scenarios.
And it's going to turn on Ferocious, too.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's going to give you any real relevant ability since you're tapped out. But
Well, sure.
or not Ferocious.
Formidable. But,
Formidable,
and
yeah.
that's fine. But, ultimately, it's a great pump spell. And that's what, and the art is absolutely gorgeous.
One of the best.
It's
from
really
the set,
really
yeah.
good. I like it a whole lot. Congratulations, Winona Nelson. You did a great job. Pick early because it's a really sweet, pump spell, but not anything that I first pick Windmill Slam by any means.
No.
But I'm glad to have it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll see how it plays. It's really expensive for a combat trick. It takes up your whole turn, so we'll see how it plays out.
Well, you could also, at the end of their turn, just
Seems
bolster.
like the worst,
Why?
because then I guess if they're tapped out, but then they know.
Well, they know, but like, if you have like a little dinky flyer and you
feel
turn
like
them
you-
into a huge monster,
I feel like you're gonna
untapped.
always want to do it before you attack to get the damage in to make sure that you never get 2 for 1.
I mean,
Because what if they say go with open mana too?
Sure, and I understand that.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, there are different ways of playing this card to make it not just like, it has to be done on the attack step.
And I guess this is a really big +4/+4 is really good. So
You're right.
yeah, this is probably really good.
And permanently.
Yeah.
So.
On that hexproof guy.
Oh, 9/5.
Damn you, wizards!
Woo! That'd be so sick.
That's gonna happen.
That's your turn 4 to your turn 5.
yeah.
Oh,
That
baby.
thing's gonna punch some dragons.
Yeah, let's do it. Punch a dragon. Wow. Now look, you can only punch a bear once and make it the coolest thing ever in Magic at that time period.
Then you have penguins punching bears.
Then we have Polar Punch. It's the greatest thing ever. You can get yours at the Open Series. Epic Confrontation is sweet. Obviously, Savage Punch keyed off Ferocious, and this one is like, you don't need no Ferocious. Let's just give you a small boost, not quite +2/+2, but just +1/+2, and that's still good.
It's still great.
It's
This
just
is-
as good as Savage Punch was.
yes.
There's no
I mean, it's
loss.
no. This is just better than Savage Punch because you can make a morph kill a morph the next turn if you want to. Like just a strict upgrade to Savage Punch.
It's just really good.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that Surak got a little bit weaker, but his fighting skills have improved.
Dude, the tooth.
Oh wow,
that
I
is
didn't even
flying
know.
off.
The teeth.
Yeah, now there's multiple teeth, but that one big
tooth,
one
yeah.
right in the middle,
Yeah.
that's the one that gets me. It's really good. It's green removal. Take it like you would removal. Super early. It's always going to be great. Explosive Vegetation, a very important reprint. The first time it's been reprinted since Onslaught, which means this is
started,
now,
Yeah, 11 years, 12 years.
Oh yeah, which means this is now modern playable. I don't know if that means anything.
No.
I just know that a lot of people mentioned it, and I was like, all right, it's modern playable. Sure, whatever. Like, all I know is this takes you from 4 to 7 mana, basically. Because on turn 4, you play
What
this.
costs 7 mana
Wait a minute.
in this set?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not one card.
Not one card.
Not a one. No Megamorph costs or dudes
No
or nothing.
dragon.
Nope. Not a one.
Nope. All right. Well, anyway.
All right,
it's
next
still
card.
good though. It gets you to Ugin. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
This is one of the best ways to get you to Ugin, so you don't like ruin your permanents.
Sure.
Like that's actually really
Nice.
like one of the coolest things about it.
It's really sweet. Now they don't want to print, like Kodama's Reach or what was it when they reprinted the core set? Go find a land and then put one in the play and one in your hand.
Kodama's Reach.
Yeah.
The other one,
What was the other one?
Cultivate.
Cultivate. Thank you. Very nice.
I did it for the first time.
You did, bro. That wasn't going to be awkward at all.
No.
But Explosive Vegetation is good. It takes you from 4 to 7 mana because you go to 6 when you play it, and then you play your next land drop next turn. You're at 7. That's important. That could be important in Constructed. I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, I
it's
can definitely
possible.
see that. Like, Ugin wants some friends. Green has always had this weird relationship with the card because you, like, spend all your mana guys to ramp you into it.
Right.
And also, Explosive Vegetation lets you ramp in these decks and not be mana. So, like mana dork, so you can't get Wrath. All your mana gets Wrath away and things like that. So, yeah, I think this card will see constructed play.
Absolutely. So you have, Frontier Siege saw play is good and does similar things to this. You know what I mean? It does ramp you 2
Yeah.
mana thereafter, but your opponent can destroy it. Whereas your opponent can't, thankfully, destroy your lands these days.
That is not true. We just saw a removal spell that destroys lands.
Oh, shut up. Card is good. The end. Foe Razor. Foe Razor?
Foe Razor Regent.
Foe Razor. God, okay. For a
Yeah,
7
red gets a
mana-
4/4.
for 4 with sweet upsides. This
And-
guy has to fight a thing.
You may.
May.
Yeah, he's already
May.
been to Fight Club.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
And then he talked about it. So I don't know, dude. This is what happens when green gets dragons. They become really strange. It's
mean,
still
to be
it's,
fair,
this
like-
card is still great. Don't get me
No,
wrong.
this card is actually just insane because
Yeah.
it's a small creature, but you just pick off one of their weak guys and you say go, and now it's a 6/7.
Right. It's a
And
6/7
then-
flyer for 7. And then whenever a creature you control fights, you put 2 counters on it.
Yeah.
Card is great. Because then you can do stuff like Formidable Punch or whatever that thing was.
Yeah.
The new Savage Punch. And, okay, he gets bigger. And then he gets
Or
bigger.
other ones get bigger. No, it's that creature.
Oh, whenever that creature you control. Okay, I understand.
he gets his
well,
one time.
Granted, you'll probably use him to do the
And
Savage
then,
Punch
and
thing.
then, and then he, I mean, after the first one,
Woo!
then he gets a 6. He still can't fight a Tarka.
Oh.
No, they had to make that.
Well,
probably.
sure he could. I mean, if you do it twice, because when he enters the battlefield, you fight once, and then you savage punch something, and then all of a sudden
Then
he's
you have
an
to
8/9.
savage. Then you have to savage punch again.
Well, sure. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Card is super sweet, first pickable, always playable, super great, no question.
Yep.
Glade Watcher, 2 mana, 3/3 defender, and when you have 8 power, he can attack.
This card's great.
I think this card is really good.
I think it's a very good card you're going to want on the draw against like the aggressive black-red decks, like the dash decks. Like, it's going to be awesome because it sticks around. It forces them to build their board as opposed to like trade, or trade, kill, trade. And I don't think I'm going to want to make deck because like the thing I don't want to do is I don't want to go on the play and just play this on turn 2 because it's a do nothing until it's a do something, and you don't really want to start your curve with those.
Not really. I mean, you know, I can see main decking it just because it gets you to formidable so quickly. It is a great blocker. If you have a big end game in your deck, I can see this being playable no problem.
It's probably very good in blue-green.
More than
Because
likely.
like you're going to spend some time drawing cards and
Hold the ground.
developing and
do the stuff, and then this card sort of, morphs can't attack into it, and they have to have a trick, blah blah blah. No one wants to use spells or trade their creatures with this guy because they're just like, oh god, he's just like a crappy defender, and it's going to use up his mana, but now I have to use a spell on it. Like, it's one of those, because it feels bad for you to get rid of it, then it stays around even longer.
Yep.
Card is surprisingly better than it looks. Guardian Shield Bearer, 2 mana, 2/1s. All right, sweet.
yeah.
Now, it only puts a +1/+1 counter on another creature you control, not itself,
Yeah.
after you pay 4 mana. So you're paying 4 mana and you're only still having
And
a
then
2/1?
3/2. No, because you.
Because you Megamorph, you get to be a 3/2.
It's a 3/2, and then you give another counter. It's fine.
That's
I mean,
okay.
it's a 2-drop, which is important. This format's really hammered home the 2-drops. Like
It really has.
when you play in, and I think that's part of the whole like dragon complex. If the format's not fast, then the dragons just like take over the games, and I think they want dragons to be a part of limited, but not.
They want you to be able to kind of
limited.
go under them.
Yeah.
I think the real skill testing bit in this format is knowing when to morph and megamorph this, or when to just play it on turn 2.
Yeah.
And that goes for literally all of them. I'm talking like even Den Protector and Ire Shaman and all that stuff. Like, that is a huge skill test where, yes, I could get this sweet value later, but if I don't get going and if I don't start turning things sideways, like, they're just going to kill me with their huge bombs.
Yep.
So I need to get on the ground. I need to start beating face as soon as possible.
Yeah, and I think this is like probably playable. It's not one of the most exciting cards in the we've seen so far in green, but
It's fine.
yeah, I mean, I could see playing it.
Absolutely.
It's probably like low impact, like much like the 5/1 from red, the Megamorph. Like I think this is the same thing. Like you're gonna see them really late, and you'll play some when you need a card, and sometimes it'll blow them out. But for the most part, you're gonna want other cards. Like you always want something else besides this.
Yeah, this is the card that I feel the least bad about just playing out on turn 2.
Yeah,
The other
I
ones,
agree.
I think you can anguish over and kind
Well,
of.
that would just be cheating.
What?
Playing the other Megamorphs on turn 2 because they cost more.
Well, yeah. Which one are we talking about?
I mean, I'm just joking.
Okay.
Like, the
Trollsies.
bad versions, like the good ones, of course, you don't want to play them on turn 2.
Oh yeah, the bad one's rad. But either way, neat card. Herd Chaser Dragon. This is the green one.
And it has trample on its big 4/4 body. What is blocking it? What trample
is that
relevant?
face, man?
No. I want to know what the trample is. Like, what is in the air so worthy of trampling over at 4 power?
Dude, what's wrong with your face? What's wrong with your face?
What do you mean? There's his eyes and it's his horns or something.
What's wrong with your face? People who like Red Letter Media got that. All right. 6 mana, 3/3. It's as good as the other dragons. It's playable. It's not bad by any means.
It's probably the worst of the cycle, though.
As it should be, because it's green, and green always gets the crappiest flyers and dragons. Blah,
What,
blah,
you don't
blah.
like destroying non-creature permanents and
Gross.
trampling?
Gross. It's still a fine man. It's just not that exciting.
No.
Inspiring Call. Now, this is a card that I feel is like, it's a skill tester because it looks so crazy good, but you have to be in such a position, normally a winning position, for this card to actually matter. Like, there's a reason that they're just like, draw cards, make them indestructible, whatever. Like, cash and prizes. It's like, no, you're not. And
You're
if
not
like,
gonna get there,
Yeah,
yeah.
and like if you had one guy with a +1/+1 counter on it, that's not good. You paid 3 mana to draw a card and made that guy indestructible. That's crap. Like, you have to have an overwhelming board presence, or your opponent has to just be swimming in a bowl for this card to really shine, which is why it's only 3 mana, which is why it's an instant, and which is why it looks like it's, like, crazy powerful.
Yeah, it's not going to be good.
It's not good at all. I've played Magic too long to be fooled by cards like these. Too long! Lurking Arnix? Oh man, I'm probably butchering that so hard.
This is a really good card, though.
Card is very, very good.
Like, it comes down, and the turn it attacks should be the turn that you should be able to use that ability.
Yep.
It's not like a Roar of the Challenge where you can invest all your mana. Like, you can sink it all in and try to get all the creatures to do an alpha swing, but just picking off little guys is going to be really good for combat.
Yeah, 3/5 that can make them block it is awesome.
He's such a bully, too. Look what he's just... Look how mean he is.
Down.
Yeah.
Stay.
I'm posing. I'll eat you soon.
just a minute. Just a minute. Okay. Card's really good. You can pick it. I don't know, man. I'd pick it pretty highly.
Yeah.
It's a good man.
Yeah. Again, though, because it's a 5-mana 3/5, it's not the card that puts you into the archetype, I think, but it's a card that you're going to want, like, second, third, fourth after you picked a green card.
Yep. You're going to be like, oh, sweet. That card's really
If you
sweet.
take Zurich, you're going to take this next. Like,
Absolutely. Naturalize. Man, how many times have we reviewed Naturalize? That's what I want to know.
I mean,
God,
enough.
we have to be in like maybe 6 or 7.
Enough to where I just, I don't want to talk about
We
it.
just go like words and stuff, and we talk about
What
the
kind
art.
of concoction is it, though?
What are they doing?
It looks like legs, and it looks like
Right.
it looks like the
Legs on the back.
the magic version of Lost.
and something that's like busted out.
Yeah.
There's a smoke monster in here somewhere.
Yeah.
And that string of numbers is
We already
located-
do have panda bears.
do have panda bears. So yeah, stuff's getting weird. Naturalize is Naturalize. Naturalize is good. Naturalize is often main deckable and sealed, and is usually in the sideboard anyway. It can answer anything that is an artifact or enchantment. I hate to be that literal about it, but it's kind
It's
of
a card they want to keep printing for the more kitchen table magic, but it's just not standard playable. It's just that day is come and gone.
It has, and maybe it'll come back in some form or fashion, but ultimately, you know, it needs to exist. It needs to exist in certain environments. It needs to exist for casual players to have access to it, and it needs to exist to show that green is the color that does this, and green is the color that does this the most efficiently, because you have the exile artifact or enchantment in white, but it's 3 mana,
Yep.
and this is 2 mana. So, you know, again, green is the best at doing this. This is very much a green card. It used to be disenchant for years and years and years. It used to be a white card. And then they were like, oh, wait, green should be the best at destroying artifacts and enchantments. And here we are. Obscuring Aether. Man, everyone's flipping out over this card. They were like, I cannot wait to draft this thing and play my face down spells with such and such. And if you get 3 of them, you get to play morphs for free. What? I mean, you know, like, I'm really saddened that you couldn't turn it face down or face up.
Yeah.
By this. I don't know why.
No, that's bad.
In terms of what?
Like, you can't turn them back because they're infinite chump blockers.
They would be infinite chump blockers.
Yeah,
or
that's
maybe
too
it has,
bad.
well, I mean, it could also have like a really, really high morph cost or something silly. I don't know. Either way, this is like a cute card. This is your Trail of Mystery. You know, this is your like.
Way worse than Trail of Mystery.
For sure, but it's like this weird, strange outlier
Yeah.
that does a thing that doesn't make a lot of sense. And you can randomly become a 2/2. Okay.
Nope.
I don't like
Not buying it.
it. Not doing it.
Yeah, you are not taking
doing
my
it.
money on this one.
Nope. Next. Pinion Feast. Woo! This card's good.
This card's very good. I mean, the one that's just that naturalized plus plummet from the other side. I can't remember. I can never remember its name.
I mean,
You know what I'm talking about, though. You all know what I'm talking about.
Y'all know what's going
Destroy
on.
target flyer, artifact, or enchantment. Like, this card is just a strict upgrade to that because it also is a combat trick. It still kills a flyer for 1 more mana, but you don't really care about artifacts or enchantments that much. Whereas this is where you care about all the creatures. So I'm a huge fan of this card.
this card is totally awesome. Kill a dragon, make your guys bigger. I mean, almost always playable. The set makes this really, really playable. Gives every color dragons. Will always be good. Always main deck it. Pick it early. Is green removal in a environment that is really like plummet is one thing. Plummet is a green and a colorless destroy target flying creature at instant speed, and that's cool. And that was unique in the core sets in which it was featured. But it wasn't always good, and it could kind of it could just sit in your hand for a long time. This environment is made to give you flyers to destroy with this thing.
But the removal is expensive, so it's not just like, have 2 mana open, kill your thing very easily, then morph up my stuff. Like,
Right.
And that's why everything's expensive, is because that's how the gameplay is going to be. So even though it costs 5, it seems bad, but everything is expensive, so everything is on the same, playing field.
So there you are. Press the advantage. That art.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
I mean, I feel
I don't
like
know
I
what's
just
going
flashed
on.
into an anime.
I don't know, man. I feel like we kind of went back to like almost like Mercadian Masky type art type stuff, and I'm not
Maybe
trying to.
this was something they had since.
Maybe this was like a holdover from like Kamigawa or something. This is weird.
It does not feel like it was made for the set though.
Yeah, it
Nothing
feels,
about it is like those aren't what the Jeskai like. No creatures from this world look like that.
No, I don't know. It's weird. I'm sure people are like all in the comments at this point, dude, it's like the standard armor in such and such clan. I'm like, I don't know.
I think so.
All I'm saying is like the art is kind of like a big sore thumb on this one. Either way, it doesn't matter because this is a great combat trick. This is super powerful. They printed this in white and Theros for 3 mana. Remember the white and 2 colorless?
Oh.
4/2+2/2.
Card was gross.
Card was completely absurd. So this is 1 more mana, and that's okay.
And it also gives trample though.
Absolutely. So not only does it give you a boost, it gives you trample. So
Yeah.
it's super great.
This card is going to be very good. It's easily first pickable. I guarantee it. Like, it's your overrun because overrun's too busted.
Yeah, overrun's way too
Yeah,
busted.
this is definitely first pick, and I would be glad to. I love cards like this. I feel like I have an advantage over my opponent when I have cards like this in my deck.
Is it an advantage that you can press?
I think so.
Okay. I was thinking that's
Yeah.
Okay, great. Revealing Wind. I make some Revealing Wind from time to time. I reveal what I ate this morning. Oh, fart jokes.
Come
All
on,
right.
let's keep going here.
Okay, fine. It's a fog. You may look at each face-down creature that's attacking or blocking. That's adorable. I mean, this is one of those like when you're in the back and forth, you're in the race situations. They got they have the tempo on you. They're going to beat you before you beat them. They smash all in. You prevent all the damage. You see what all their morphs are. You write that down like a good Magic player should, and then you get your turn and you kill them. That's what I want to do with this card.
I guess so. I'd rather just use the Winds of Kelsaga or whatever. The other fog that's way better than this,
Sure.
like from Fate Reforged.
Is that the one that prevents just yours or theirs or whatever?
Just theirs if you have Ferocious.
Nice.
Really good card.
Yeah.
I don't think this is played that often. You can play it if there's like this crazy race going on, but like the days of actual fogs being good have gone, and all the fogs that have been around nowadays are actually just blowouts. They're like,
They're
for
generally
some
blowouts.
reason, your guys don't deal damage, but
But
mine
mine do.
And your guys are all
Thanks.
dead. For some reason, I don't get it. Green
Who
Plague
knew?
Wind.
I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Not a card you pick highly. Not a card you often play, honestly.
No.
But maybe there's a situation where you get yourself into my beaters versus your beaters, and I don't know. It's bad.
Yeah.
Not good. Salt Road Ambushers. This is pretty cool. It's unfortunately like it can become a 4/4 with Megamorph, and then you have to unmorph something else in order for that card to be good. So this is one that I think you play more as a 4-drop than you do as a morph, and then you Megamorph it.
I agree.
Because you want to get this out there as soon as possible, and then you want to unmorph something as soon as possible. So putting yourself behind multiple turns to turn it up is bad.
Yeah, but sometimes in a pinch, it's going to be what you want to do.
Sure. I mean, or sometimes they have a 3/4 or whatever, and you have to get over it. So you're going to morph and then Megamorph, and it's going to be fine. But it's really cool. I like this card.
Yeah, this card's very good, actually.
Card is very, very good. You can pick it early. Always play it.
I want to know what's going on this Salt Road, though.
Someone on the Salt Road, dude.
Yeah.
They are hanging out on the
I
Salt
want to know
Road.
the story of it.
I'm sure we can find out.
Yeah.
Salt Road Quartermasters, 3 mana 1/1s that enter the battlefield with 2+1/+1 counters on it, and then you can kind of move those around. That's really cool. It's sort of a grafty, almost Simic type feel, and it messes with combat big time. Like, I know this card I don't think looks like much. It's a 3 mana 1/1 with some like counter things going on, but like your opponent is just going to be completely wrecked trying to play around it, and you don't even have to attack with the guy,
And it can also like be interesting for bolster too, like being able to move a counter to put a counter back on this, so that other creature.
Yeah.
Actually, that makes no sense.
Well, no, I mean, if you play Dromoka's gift or whatever it was, Dromoka's thing,
Yeah.
that gives them 4, bolster 4.
You can try to get it onto
Yeah,
this guy.
you
so
move
that-
the counters off,
Yeah.
and then you give this 4 more counters, and then like this is the card that just completely wrecks combat steps, and your opponents will be Fluxed and
And
Fluxed.
it's still a 3/3 for 3, and that's rare in this set.
They will be perplexed at like exactly how to play the board once this guy once you untap with it, particularly once you have 6 mana available.
Yeah.
Everything's different, and every scenario is probably bad for them.
Yeah, I mean, there's Megamorph to think about. There's this card to think about. There's a lot to think about.
There's a lot. This
But
card's
yeah,
very good.
this is a premium card for Spickable.
Yep, it's very good. We'll do great things. That's not a hound, okay? That's a fox.
But
Now,
what
there was a movie
What do you think he says about it?
of the fox and the hound, and this is not a hound. It is a hound scout. No. It is a fox scout. Get it right.
I mean, it looks like a hound.
It's got these weird pointy ears, man.
No, but look at its face. That's not.
I don't know. It's houndish.
Not really.
Eh,
It's it's very houndish. It's not foxy at all.
I get it. 5 mana for a 2/2 that bolsters 2. 5 mana for a 4/4 at worst. Like, I don't know.
Is he dragging?
He's dragging like a dragon
A dragon
head
claw.
or claw. Nice.
That's awesome.
And like, I love this, like the arrogant flavor text. Sad what passes for a dragon among the Silumgar. Brr. Like, this is a cool card. It's okay. It's not something that I pick early, but it's not like a terrible card. It's not unplayable by any means. It's just not as exciting as other options.
I agree.
Yeah. So it's okay. Scale Guard Signals. This is the guy I was talking about earlier. I think this card is really sweet. In that, at the very least, there was Nissa's Chosen, and then there was, what was the other one? 2 mana, 2/3. Just 2 green, 2/3.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. But either way, there was Garrick's Companion was the 3/2 trampler.
Yeah.
But yeah, these cards, I don't know if they could actually work in Constructed, but man, it would be sick if they could.
I mean, it's not going to. Like, a 3/4 on turn 2 is great. I
Yep.
agree. But all the green dragons suck, so then you have to branch out to the other colors, and now you're playing, like, double green 2-drops into, like, double red 4-drops. Yeah, it's not worth it. The mana, like, there's better things you can be doing with your time.
But in Limited, it's sweet.
In Limited, this card's going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, this card is absolutely fantastic. And if you get to actually reveal the dragon, like, woo woo.
Yeah, on turn 2, you just reveal a dragon. It's
Card
going
is
to be really good. And it's going to be
cray.
happening because there's, like, the morph dragon. So, like, you pick up a couple of these that no
Right.
one else wants, then those dragons are starting to look really appealing.
Well, I mean, I think this is uncommon for a reason. I think, like, too many of these things would be
Oh,
way
well,
too good.
yeah.
I mean, like, just these are the cards that, like, 2 mana, 3/4, that is way above the curve. I don't care how, much the creatures have gotten better these days. That's above the curve
I
big
agree
time
with
right
that.
now. And as a result, like, doing this on turn 2 and getting it the +1/+1 counter, doing it on turn 3, but, like, wow, that's 2 3/4s. That's nuts. So, like, see these guys, pick them early, always play them. You're going to have enough dragons, you should be able to turn them on. And if at worst I pay 2 green for a 2/3, I'm not
Right.
hating myself, you
Yeah.
know? Like, if you're on the curve and you need to run it out there, another skill tester, sometimes, even if you don't have the dragon, it's okay to play it because you need to get in there.
I mean, yeah, I will almost always be playing this on turn 2 if I have the mana to, regardless if I have a dragon or not.
right. If you have a dragon, high five. If you don't, keep playing it. Segmented Crotique. Is it Crotic or Crotique?
I don't know. I don't
I
feel
don't
like
know.
critiquing you.
Nice. Crotiquing me? Ah? Whew, it's getting late up in here. So, I'm not going to miss the boat on this one like I did with the blue one. This card is super sweet when you Megamorph it and they don't block it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Let me reverse that. When they don't block it and you Megamorph it, card is super
I mean,
cool.
it's still good when they block it. Like, you can just flip it up and it's big.
Yep, it's super huge.
These are the
and-
dragon killers. Like, we need them. Like, if some of these Megamorphs did just, like, blow these dragons, like, I don't know how we attack into them.
Basically, I mean, they
Yeah.
have to really craft the environment to where like the dragons can be good, but also not overpowering.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool, and I think they've done a pretty good job of at least how we've gone through the set to see
Yeah.
all these different ways you can deal with like a huge 4/4 flyer or a 5/6 whatever.
And also, the reason that they're all 7, in my opinion, I think it's when the person with the dragon is on the play, they don't want all the morphs to just morph up for 6 and kill the dragons immediately.
Right.
So the dragons do have an opportunity to block sometimes and not just get blown out. So, like, that's one of the things that you see in the set, that instead of being 5 and 6, they're all 7. And I think that's the reason. Like, no one wants to play, finally hit their 6-drop on curve, and then the opponent's like, all right, attack you with this thing, and it's going to not just trade, but, like, stay in play, and you just lost your dragon for nothing.
There you go. So, and at worst, if you pay 6 mana for a 5 or for a 6/5, okay.
That's great.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's better than a crawworm. I'm okay with that. Servant of the Scale. This is neat, and when it dies, it moves its counter around. I remember Simic Initiate. That card wasn't good, and neither was this one.
But
Nope.
if it gets more counters, it moves all of them.
I mean, yeah, but like at that point, you're bolstering onto your 1/1 that has you play for 1.
Yeah, this is more playable than most 1/1s for 1, just because its life will live on.
Its heart will go on.
Its heart will go on. I was
There you
trying to
go.
get there, but like
No!
I forgot. I would have gotten it if green was the first color.
Yep, you're here, buddy. There's nothing to fear. All right.
But yeah, it's not that good.
Card's bad. Shaman of Forgotten Ways. Tell me how much you like this card.
Well, I may be the only person to ever work really hard to build a deck around, what was Sage? The
Somber Wild?
Summerworld Sage, yeah.
Yep.
And when I saw this, I was like, wow, it's just a better version of this card. I think that this card could end up having a huge impact on Standard. Maybe not initially, because Courser just kind of sits on top of it. Same with the Raptor.
Right.
Like, they both sit on top of this card, and I don't know if you want your acceleration to start on turn 3, and maybe like having one copy of it in your deck is fine. It could be a great Court of Calling target if Court of Calling becomes a thing.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, I think Courser is the most important 3-drop. You don't want a lot of 3s in your deck because you want your ramp to either ramp you into Courser to play your land or just go straight to 4 or 5.
Right.
And so right now, nothing, but I would suggest picking up a set of these because they will be powerful. Like, Courser will be gone, and it was one of the most influential cards in the format.
Right.
And once that's gone and Thoughtseize rotates, this will take its place, become a very important role player in Standard,
See a bunch of play.
and see a ton of play.
Well, I mean, the only reason I think it can see play currently is because it needs 11 mana to activate, which is like actual millions.
No, it isn't.
But
Oh.
we have the ability to make actual
Yeah,
millions, and
Nykthos.
it's called Nykthos. So, courting for this and then Nykthosing for 11 and killing your
Easy
opponent.
peasy.
Japanese. So there you are. Shaman of the Forgotten Ways, by the way, is a huge limited bomb. I think absolutely just ramps out all your good creatures. It's still a 3-mana 2/3, which is fine. And yeah, just like helps you play all your bombs as soon as possible. So
Very good and limited.
card is very, very strong. Always play it first pick it, no problem. Shape the Sands, 1 green for +0/+5 and reach.
Nope.
No. Bad card is bad. Not talking about it. Sheltered Airy. Okay, so there's where we had Verdant Haven, right? But we don't gain life this time.
But we get 2 mana.
Right.
Oh, wait, no, it's different, yeah.
Yeah.
Verdant Haven was tap at an additional mana. This is literally the enchanted land
Land gets tapped at 2 mana. So it's the same thing.
You tricked me for a second, Wizards.
It's okay. Now, is this without the life game good enough? Now, we obviously crapped all over Verdant Haven, and then we both ran into each other. You playing Verdant Haven?
Do
Yeah,
you
I'm playing
put your
Verdant
tail
Haven.
between your legs? Because I don't. This card sucks.
Sucks?
Never play
Sucks.
it. It'll just get naturalized.
Oh, my God. This card is good. Now I know now he's just trolling. Now
I mean,
know
it's probably bad.
I don't think it's that bad.
I want to put creatures into play. Like, I understand you put your
costs
Dragon Fester.
$1 million.
No, they're all morphs. And then they cost $1 million.
Megamorph costs $1
I
million.
would just play an 18th land.
I would probably rather
This
play
card
an
will be
18th
good if there's the ability to play multiple colored decks, but I don't think that's really going to be a thing, like 3 or 4 colored decks.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe, but like the fixing's all gone, right?
Yeah,
like
fixing's not good. I mean, you get it in Fate Reforged and all, but like it's more or less gone. Let's not
Fate
kid
Reforged
ourselves.
is kind of like, ooh, I got a dual land.
Right.
Like I have one for my 2-color deck.
Got my gain land. Woo
Yeah,
woo.
we're going back to the old, 9, 8, 10, 7s. Like that. That's where we're going.
I like
Maybe
it.
an Evolving Wilds here or there.
All right, fine. Throw down the gauntlet. Card's bad. Moving on. Sight of the Scale Lords. 5 mana enchantment at the beginning of your turn. Creatures you control with toughness 4 or greater get +2/+2 and gain vigilance no one a turn. Jesus.
I mean,
Really?
it's not good.
Oh, but it happens at the beginning of combat on your turn. You get it immediately.
Oh wow! But you have to have creatures with 4 toughness. There's not a lot of them.
Well, not a ton of them, but for green you seem to have some
I
options.
mean, you have options, but you don't have a ton of them.
I don't know. This is one of
Card's
those.
bad.
Fine.
Bad.
Fine.
It's really bad.
I don't know about that bad.
It's terrible. It's great art though.
Why is
I
it
love
that
the art.
bad?
I love the art.
I don't know, man. This
It
card
feels like a Dragon Invasion. There's like 2 of them happening.
is pretty sweet, though. Artwork is great. I don't know, man. I don't know about this card.
It's bad.
I think you're just missing it early.
No, because you don't
Okay.
have a lot of toughness. Like not everything has a bunch of toughness. A lot of it's like morphs and like 2/2s, and there's like a couple. There's like the 2/4.
Doesn't this
Like
help you
Mana
go
Guy.
up and above, like over their Megamorph stuff, over their Dragon stuff?
What are you talking about?
Well, creatures you control with toughness 4 or greater get bigger and gain vigilance. Like,
Yeah, but like you're not gonna have access to many of those.
Sure. I mean, but
And
for me,
if you don't have one, this card literally does nothing for 5 mana. Like, absolutely nothing. It doesn't even give you a ham sandwich. It's just terrible.
no ham and no sandwich.
Yeah.
Nothing. All right, fine. Stampeding Elk Herd, 5 mana for your 5/5. I'm already in.
Yeah.
And if you have formidable creatures you control gain trample, wow, awesome.
I mean,
Wait, no, there's no toughness 4 or greater in this set. Remember that. You want that play to crow? There you go.
I mean,
It's
I don't know how
delicious.
good this card's going to be.
This card seems fine.
I mean, it seems great. Like, it's way better than that 5/4. But
Yeah.
like a lot of these cards that like all these like 5/5s and 5/4s for 5 have been historically bad in this format. But like this is a 5/5, so it doesn't really die to a lot of the removal spells.
Right.
So we'll see where this card ends up. I do think that it'll be fine. Like the way this format's shaping out. Well, usually you want it to be going morphs into flip up your morphs.
It's really weird to crap on a 5 mana for 5. Or
I mean,
5 mana 5/5 rather.
I agree.
Like it feels weird to me.
I mean, I think it'll be good.
I think it'll be fine. And I wouldn't, pick it early, but you play it in your green decks because it's good.
Yeah.
It's just a good man. Sunbringer's Touch is generally bad. And yeah, each creature gains trample. I mean, like that second line felt like it was just kind of added on there because they're like, oh wait, this card's really bad.
We need something.
We need something else to make it look not so bad. Like, oh, they gained trample. Okay, you got me. Like, it's not even an instant. So like, it's not.
Oh wow, yeah, it's not an instant.
Right, and so it's like, all right, I'm going to show it, like, X is the number of cards in my hands, you know exactly what's happening. My guys have tramples, you know exactly what's happening.
This card's terrible.
This card is not good.
Wow.
Moving on. This card is great.
I do feel like I was the first on this bandwagon, like of anyone I've ever talked to.
Surok?
Yeah.
Well, I liked him, but
Yeah.
whatever.
No, that's fine. No one cares.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm kidding. No. I love this card. I think that it is
card's so
phenomenal.
good.
Like Polukranos has been overplayed in a lot of the decks, like non-devotion based decks that want a creature like that, even though his ability wasn't that great, just because he was the only 5/5. Like he was the best in the business.
Sure.
But now you have Suruk, which I think is just unbelievable. Like you can just go Elf into Rebel
Courser.
Master or Courser into play this and attack for 5. 5 haste on turn 3. Like this guy attacks for 1,000,000 damage, and then he gives haste to the next guy. Also, like in some decks, you can Genesis Hydra into him and give the Genesis Hydra haste and attack because they work together.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Dude, I love this card. I
Yeah.
loved this card. I don't know why people were crapping all over it. I was like, really, guys? This card seems nuts. And
Well, it seems like Rhino again. Like Rhino's just like, yeah, it's just a dude. And then like
Right.
once we see this card in action, also like this like control decks are gonna hate this guy because think about like back in the day when end hostility and they're like, all right, end of turn boon center untap, play Polukranos, attack you before go. Now it's Surok, take 9.
Yeah.
You're probably dead.
Oh, Boon Satyr plus this guy is good times. I
Yeah.
love it. I love everything this card does. First pick, always playable, unbelievably sweet. We'll see playing constructed. I can't wait. Tread Upon. It's a good combat trick.
This is a great combat trick.
It's pumping and it's trampling, and that's great.
Yeah.
And this can help you win the game with a trample, or just obviously remove the creature really
Yeah,
quickly.
more formats love pump effects like this, and we have a couple. Like Awaken the Bear, didn't see a ton of play, but I think it was because it was 3 mana, and same with Dragon Scale Boon. But now that this is 2 mana, I think 2 mana is way more efficient. Much easier to cast a morph and play this on turn 5. Much easier for if they like Mega Morph, and sometimes like you're gonna be able to keep your green creature alive because of this.
Right.
And so like I'm a definite fan of this card. I think you're gonna want a couple copies in every single green deck you draft.
Absolutely. This is green creature removal. This is as good
Well,
as
no, green literally gets creature removal now.
Yeah, now it does. Destroy target flying creatures and all, but it's just sweet. But like this card is great. It's an instant. It's not that weird bolster sorcery crap anymore. It's like no. Do the thing, kill the creature, always play it, pick it early. Every green deck has it.
Yep.
The end. A Rashin. Sovereign.
Sovereign.
A Rashin Sovereign. 7 mana for your 6/6 flyer. It comes back forever.
Or not.
Or not if you don't want it to, but pretty sure this card's limited bomb, and it just keeps. They just have to keep dealing with
Yeah,
it.
it's so big. It's
It's-
just 6/6. It's gigantic. Look at how big that tree is compared to it. Like it's so tiny.
At her butt.
Yeah. Like I love that it just
big.
scales. Like that's a person. That's a
The
tree. That's the dragon.
Roar!
They made sure you knew that it was gigantic.
Just so you know, we gave you some scale. And I'm not talking about
Yeah.
scale birds. I'm talking about scale people, scale trees, okay? Card is awesome, super playable. Again, in limited, like, they're like, all right, kill it. Okay, it's coming back next turn, go. And then, like, next turn, 6/6 flyer, go. Hits you for 6. I mean, you know, like,
Yeah.
what are you going to do? Like, you have to have a pacifism or some way to exile it. Otherwise, this guy just keeps coming, keeps coming.
Very worth the investment.
Absolutely. Card is great. Dragon Lord Dromoka, also amazing. Absolutely ridiculous and limited. Unbelievable. 5/7 flying lifelink. Like, don't worry about the rest of the crap. It doesn't matter.
I've won some matches with a Baneslayer Angel, and it's really difficult to like articulate how easy it is to win a game with a giant life-leaking creature when your opponent can't deal with it.
Yeah, and not
It's
only
just,
that,
it's just so easy to do it.
right, and your opponent can't even do anything on your turn, like, you know,
Yeah.
in terms of a trick for their guys or a pump spell for their guys. Like, if they have that green pump spell, they can't use it against her
No.
because she just crushes the faces. It's ridiculous. Now, this is a card I felt like was pushed for constructed, and so it was pushed so far. Like, it's like a limited, crazy nut bomb. It's nutty.
Yeah.
It's just nutty.
It's very good.
Just stone cold.
Stone cold.
Nutter Butters. Dromoka's command. The best command and not close. Like, this card does everything good. Everything. I thought Celestian Charm was good. Wow.
I mean, Celestial Charm's still better than this. Yeah. Celestial Charm was pretty good.
it was very good.
Yeah, Celestial
This
Charm
card is this card is really, really crazy good.
I think this card, people are overhyping it.
What does this card not do? It has like multiple ham sandwiches in there.
Yeah, but
Or
it exacerbates issues on the draw. Like, this card doesn't have the ability to do anything when you don't have any creatures in play.
Okay.
Except you can kill an enchantment and, you know...
Prevent all damage from an instant or sorcery.
I mean, if that's what's happening.
I get it. It's
Like-
a little bit random.
Yeah, but it's that when you're on the draw and you're behind and you're trying to get, you know, your footing, but like the red, white based aggressive decks, like in limited, of course, bomb, all star, yada yada, high five all your friends. You're gonna 2-for-1 all your opponents all the time with this card.
Every single time, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Constructed though is what we're talking about.
Yeah, and that's where everyone's talking about.
Correct.
But like, you know, trying to find a home for this is rather difficult. Like, you can try to put it in Abzan Aggro. That's the easiest place everyone wanted to put it.
Yep.
But that deck already had such a high win percentage on the play compared to the draw, because on the draw it could never find any footing. Now, if you have this card in your hand, it's not a Bile Blade. It's not a Downfall. It's not an Abzan Charm. It's not something you can just kill, untap, try to play a Rhino or something.
Right.
And I could see you falling behind really quickly with a card like this. It's just stuck in your hand and rotting away. Also, on the play, it's not a card that like is that great against control decks and stuff like that. So like, my mission right now is to try to find home for this. Like, people are talking about like, this is going to stop people from playing sieges and stuff, and I'm like, I'm probably going to play whip. Like,
No. I don't think it's going to stop people from doing anything. I just love that, like, all the modes are interesting, powerful, amazing in the situations where they're amazing, and just do a lot of really random, interesting stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I prevented your Lightning Strike, or I prevented your Stoke the Flames, you know, and I gave my guy a +1/+1 counter, and just, you know, completely destroy their face. You know, those are the types of, like, little, like, different plays that I see. Like, obviously, yeah, I can put a counter and fight your dude and win, and this is great. But, like, you know, I like the sort of, you know, okay, you sacrifice your Banishing Light, you know, and I'll put a counter on my dude, because when this comes in, when my Siege Rhino comes back, you lose life or whatever, and the next turn I'm going to kill you because I did this at the end of your turn.
Yeah.
Like, that, those to me are like, those really, like, there's so much play in 4 modes. It's amazing. And the last time they tried to do this, you know, they made all the commands super expensive, and now it seems like they tried their best to make them as cheap as possible, so you get a bunch of really cool, interesting ways to slice and dice things.
yeah, I do think though that the forgot his name, the black-red command is actually, Kolagon's command is actually the best of all of them. And over the course of the
Wow.
next year, like before these things rotate out of constructed, I do think that card will see more play than Dromoka's command.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah, because that card, all of its modes are non-situational. Like, they are just, they
Always
can
good.
always happen.
Right, no matter what's going on.
Yep.
That's cool. Enduring Scale Lord, 6 mana, 4/4 flyer, and whenever a counter is placed on another creature you control, you may put a counter on this guy. That's neat. I mean, it's okay. It's just your uncommon green-white dragon. It's good.
It's all about counters.
All about counters.
Great art.
All about that base. So,
But it doesn't have that much of a base.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't have treble.
No.
Nope. Good guy. Pick him early. Play him late. Whatever.
Whatever.
Look, guys, how many times can I say it?
Pick it early,
Play it late.
Whatever.
He's 6 mana. You're not going to play him early. Ladies and gentlemen, it's pretty late here.
It is getting late.
Dromoka's Monument. I'm not. I can't.
Well, it is the last card in our set review.
Right. Well, so, all right, so that's the end of an era. And
Yeah, we're done.
I can't.
There's no cool cards left.
I can't talk about monuments anymore.
No.
I can't do it.
Good thing we're going to talk about this
guy!
Oh, he's unbroken!
What? I don't know if he's better than Narset because Narset is starting to get a little silly in terms of the way people are, building deck lists and showing the way that you
Can you
use it
please
and
show
all.
me some of these? Because I need to do some versus videos, and I am having a tough time building this
I
deck.
believe you spoke of reading Chapin's article, and I'm pretty sure you had some Narset deck lists in there.
That's true.
But regardless, Sarkhan Unbroken is the one that I actually feel may be better than Narset because he makes dragons. Now, Narset is sweet. Don't get me wrong, that card is awesome. I love it. It's exciting, and it's powerful. But when you top deck it and you +1 and see nothing versus top decking Sarkhan and I make a dragon and say go, I feel like one of those is better in that scenario. And
agree.
I feel like the ability to always draw cards, guaranteed, not if there's a non-creature, non-land or whatever, always draw cards is good. Get free mana is good. If you just make a dragon, go, they do whatever, your turn, make another dragon, Sarkhan dies, whatever. I now have 2 4/4 dragons. I'm okay with that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, this
You
card
just win.
This card, I think, is going to be, at best, like, there are matchups that it's going to be bad against, and there's matchups it's going to be great against. Like, it's going to be terrible against Mardu.
Okay.
Because they're just going to be able to attack it. If they ever make a dragon, Crackling Doom takes both of them apart.
Sure.
And I can see it being very good against, like, Obzon mid-range, but the problem is finding the home. Like, what else are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And that's, like, the issue I have with this card, is I do think it's good, but, like, these are not control colors, and this is definitely a control card. Like, if you're an aggressive deck, if you're playing ramp creatures, if you're playing, like, Surok or something like that, this is not the card for me. Like, Dragon or other Sarkhan is the card for me. Like, those are the cards that I want to be playing with.
I don't like. I don't think the Dragon Speaker by any means is bad. I'm just thinking like the
Dragon Speaker?
Sarkhan the Dragon Speaker, the Cons of Tarkir.
Is his name Sarkhan the Dragon Speaker?
Yeah.
He was just the only Sarkhan, so
He was the only Sarkhan.
yeah. I didn't
Except
play that card at a pro tour.
Vol and
Don't even know the name.
Sarkhan the Mad, which has the best name ever because in Spanish it's Sarkhan el Loco.
Sarkhan el Loco.
Sarkhan el Loco.
Yeah,
All right.
I do.
Sarkhan Unbroken is a sweet card though.
No, I do think it's great, and I do think it will find a home. I just don't know what it is because it's just not in the generic colors that these are usually at. And like, I do know that this is a card that I do not want to play against if I'm playing Obzon mid-range at all. And so but I want to play against all the other cards in the deck.
Nice.
So I don't really know where this is going to go.
And it could very well be that he's okay now and he gets like insane later. I mean,
I mean, that's probably it because he doesn't have a home.
Yeah, but maybe he can find one because he's not broken.
No, but he doesn't have any parents anymore.
Are you saying he's from a broken home?
He's a child of time now. He has no home.
Yeah.
Now you got that right. Yeah, I was trying to get there.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah,
Thanks. Thank you. If I have to tell you, for God's sakes, play this thing in limited every single time.
Unless you are not in those colors.
Then just rare draft it.
Yeah, of
for
course.
God's sake.
Yeah.
Evolving Wilds is brilliant in terms of the artwork. I think is absolutely gorgeous.
This is the best artwork for Evolving Wilds.
It is fantastic.
It's most colorful too.
Yeah, it's super
All
colorful.
the other ones just were so blah.
They're so brown.
Gray, yeah, brown, yeah.
Gray and brown. Like, man, this one has a lot of dynamics, which is cool. Kind of talking about it in this way because ultimately Evolving Wilds is very playable, very good, almost always playable in your decks no matter what it is because it just fixes your mana. Only if you're super aggressive would this card not be worth playing. And even then, depends on your mana.
Yeah, it's
you might
tough,
still want
especially with this format. I think there's going to be a lot of two-color splash a third, and that's going to be because we have access to Evolving Wilds. Like, you're going to want to play, like, maybe you're like green-red, but you open Dromoka in pack 2, and you're like, oh, and you take it. Now you grab 2 Evolving Wilds. You get, like, a Blossoming Sands in the last pack, and all of a sudden you have 4 white sources for your bomb. And like, that's going to happen a lot, I think. So, Evolving Wilds is going to be a good card. Sometimes you're going to want to take it if there's nothing else in the pack, just to have some fixing, but I don't think it's going to be that necessary. they don't want formats to have no fixing though.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, it's one of those, it's not powerful, it's not amazing, but it's good.
Yeah.
And that's all it really needs to be. Haven of the Spirit Dragon. Now, I thought this card was just like 100% pure casual fun, a neat design. Isn't it cool? They talk about the stuff. And the more I've seen people write about it, the absolute more I am convinced it will see play in Standard.
Oh, for sure. It'll be one of it a lot.
Exactly. It's just a one of. This is so free in blue-black and blue-white. They just want to play one of this card because late game, why not? Get your cool dragon back. Get an Ugin back even. Like, this is a sweet card, and you don't want to play a bunch of it. You don't need to play a bunch of it because this is a card that when the game goes long, this card is amazing.
Yeah, this is also a card that you might see like a one of or two of in like green-red ramp decks that are trying to Atraka or Atarka.
Atarka, yep.
Yeah, because like they're must-kill threats, and then you spend the turn getting it back into your hand, and they spend their turn like putting some more things on the board, and then you're like, yeah,
whee! I mean, like Haven of the Spirit Dragon is. Like for blue-black control to get back Dragon Lord Solemn Guard, like is amazing. Like, okay, now I'll take your cool Planeswalker, or I'll take your cool guy, or whatever. Like, super good, super playable.
I'll Solemgar your Solemgar, Legend Rule yours. Ha.
What? Remember, you can do that. And Haven of the Spirit Dragon is really good and limited. You should always play it. It's basically free. Because you're going to get back one of your super cool dragons almost always. And you should have a dragon to get back almost always. So, obviously, you get Ugin Planeswalker. Congratulations. But you should have dragons to return with it.
Yep.
Card is good. Scion of Ugin. Hey, man, it's colorless. We're going to Eldrazi territory early.
Well, it's also just the spirit of Ugin or something, and Ugin is colorless.
Somehow he slept, and he's in the cocoon, and blah,
Yeah,
blah,
blah,
He's
blah,
spectral.
blah.
He's a spectral guardian or something?
Boring, 4/4 for 6 flyer. Couldn't care less.
How good and limited?
Blah.
Blah.
I mean, maybe play it. It's
Maybe.
probably fine.
I don't know. There's so much competition.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be good, though, and I could very well just be completely underplaying this card.
No, I mean, I think it's not going to see much play.
Yeah. It's okay.
Because the other ones have abilities.
Yeah. Ancestral Statue, 4 mana for a 3/4, returns a non-land permanent you control to its owner's hand. These cards generally have a lot more play than they kind of look on the surface.
I mean, kind of, because there are some come into plays, but like at the same time, like, I mean, the thing is this costs 4 for a 3/4, whereas like in Fate Reforged you have a 4/5 for 4 that has a really bad come into play if you have any color permanents. And so like this card just seems strictly worst. I just don't think that this is a good card.
Well, I mean, we already saw in green, there were a few different cards. Like there was that 3-drop 1/1 that put 2+1/+1 counters on it and can move them around. This card will obviously be pretty sweet to pick that thing up.
Yeah, but it's so late in the game. And it's
I understand. And I mean, but there's other things like, the battlefield abilities. There's the dash cards that you can all of a sudden pick up and dash out for whatever reasons. Like, I don't know, man. All I'm saying is whenever...
You'll keep hands with like lands, 1 removal spell, and a 4-drop, and this can't be your 4-drop.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
That's pretty gross.
Yeah.
Not great. Custodian of the Trove. This was that weird artifact creature throughout the years, and now
what was it before?
The first it was a morph. It was like a 4/4.
Oh, it's this. This is the same thing.
Yeah. This is that guy, and the different timeline.
Wow.
Which is cool and neat.
So he was way cooler, and now he's just kind of
Bad.
useless.
That's the way I describe it.
The internet got here, technology.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Dragonloft Idol. As long as you control a dragon, it has +1/+1 flying and trample. I think this card is very good.
I think this card's great. Yeah.
Yeah, this
You're
card
gonna
is
get
super
it.
good.
Yeah, you're gonna play it early, and then all of a sudden it's gonna get a boost when you have dragons.
That's great.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's free. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even have to pay mana for this. It's just like, okay, here's free value. Enjoy it. Have fun.
And we've already talked about how 3/3s for 4 are just like good. Like they're middle of the line. There's a lot of them, but they're still fine. And
Yeah, I mean, like, Hill Giants are Hill Giants.
yep.
And they're good. Always good. Gate Smasher. Okay.
Gaze can be attached only to a creature with toughness 4 or greater.
There's that toughness 4 thing again.
All right.
All right. I mean, you're gonna saddle them up, smash them in.
Don't play this card ever, ever. It's super slow and bad.
It's crap and don't play it ever because
Yep.
it's crap and it sucks real bad.
Play the Hero's
Alright.
Blade. It's just infinitely better,
Heroes Blade is much better.
and it's still bad.
Well,
but it's still better than
bad,
this.
but it doesn't have the weird restriction that is going to eat your soul when you have 2-3 toughness guys out, and you're like, and then you hate life.
Yep.
No one likes to do that. Keep the lens. This card is crap. Holy
Are you
God.
kidding me? This is the greatest card in the set. Mm-hmm. They made the... All right, I was about to say a bad word. They made... No, you go back. You give me my time. This is my favorite card in the set.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
You lie.
The worst card in cons, by far, easiest last pick besides that 4/4 sacrifice, other toughness, gain life. Those are like the two cards and shatter. And even that, like there was like a bunch of last picks. But that one was your last pick.
That
more
one was
often than
always
not.
the last
The lens
pick.
was literally the last pick every single time.
Yep.
And now they gave it back to us, but the keeper of the lens.
It's
and
a
so,
squire.
Yeah, it's a squire. Like, this is the biggest, this is an actual WotC troll. Like, this is the most obvious slap you in the forehead. WotC is trolling us right now.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just very apparent.
Wizards.
Are you kidding me? It's great. Like, if they're
I
going to, like, they have said, and we have said, we have, like, regurgitated the word so many times in these, where it's like, to have good cards, you have to have bad cards.
Yep.
And if they're going to make fun of their bad cards for us, that's great.
Fine. Do the job for us.
I mean, I love it. It's
love
obviously
it.
it was bad, and
I knew it would, like, it's obviously bad. It's bad for a reason. Bad.
but to bring it back though, like I actually thought they were gonna like just bring back an old card, and they did with Summit Prowler. They just like made like cons. They were just gonna keep a card from cons and make sure it was the exact same.
Right.
Which Summit Prowler makes the most sense, right? Because it's just chilling in the mountains. Doesn't really care about these dragons.
Right.
But this card, like, is just genius to me.
It's geniusly bad.
Well, of course, yeah. Never play it.
Card is
Just
garbage.
foil it and have it signed.
Yep. Speaking of bad cards, Tapestry of the Ages is very bad. You have to have... Now, this is really cool with Rebound. Don't get me wrong. Like, the Rebound spells, it's really cool. You kind of just pay 2 and draw a card, and that's sweet and all. But the setup for this card, the amount of mana that you have to invest in this card...
Just turn 6, draw a card.
What?
Huh?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you activated itself, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you paid 6 mana to draw 1 card, and then you have to play more spells and have 2 more mana on top of it, hopefully to draw cards.
Yeah, I mean, it's really bad.
It's bad.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Spider Silk Net. I think this is really cool. You know why? It's
Yeah.
from Zendikar.
Yeah, and and we're going there soon.
I know, right? Really cool.
It's also a really good card for this format, I think, because like, plus, it's really cheap. The equipped is fast. Giving toughness boost is pretty sweet, but also reach could be very important, especially if you're like actually in chump block mode, which you could realistically be in.
This is a card that I remember from Zendikar specifically. Now that was a very fast format, it was a very aggro format, but it always this card always outperformed more than even I expected it to. This card
It was good.
This card was very good. Vial of Dragonfire. Now they told us this was coming. They told us this was coming.
It was pretty obvious, yeah.
And that's fine. I'm a little disappointed.
Why?
Well, you know, when you promise a card and it sounds really cool, I hate when like it just kind of ends up being like, okay, it's okay. It's not.
I mean, Heartpiercer was okay too.
Yeah, it was fine. Well, it was actually kind of bad in my opinion. But
I mean,
it's
yeah,
okay.
it was very situational for the metagame, and this card seems very situational for the metagame too. But the thing that is cool is like I don't care how good this card is, because the flavor was awesome, and it was really cool to know a card was coming out in the next set, much like Tarmogoyf and Planeswalker.
Sure.
Like I like that flavor. So
I
yeah,
loved the flavor. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. They said they named a card that no one's ever seen that we get to find out
Yeah.
later. Oh, cool. I know what's coming in the next set. I wonder what it does, yada, yada, yada. And I think when you build up that anticipation, I would like for that to be impressive. You know
to
what I
be
mean?
fair, this
or
seems
constructed
like
worthy.
I don't think you go toe to toe with anyone that does the flavor and argue your way out of saying that a Vial of Dragonfire does sound like it would just kill a 2/2.
No, and that's fine. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that like this card in particular is bad or what it does is bad. I'm just like whenever they create a situation where you are told a card name however long in advance, by the time that card name gets here, there's an anticipation, there's thoughts, there's imaginations of what it could be.
Oh,
and,
sure.
You know what I mean? Like there's sort of anticipation, and when you finally get it, you're just like, oh, it's like a weird like removal spell on an artifact, and it's not bad. It's in fact very much playable. Because, you know, when this sits out on the board, your opponent either doesn't want to play a morph or they don't want to have all their mana tapped so they can make sure they can unmorph in response. Otherwise, it's just going to kill them. So the card is powerful, the card is playable, the card is good. All I'm saying is, Wizards, when you do this again, can you please make it a constructed worthy card? Because I feel it would really kind of come home with like we were hoping it was going to be a good card. It's a good card. Maybe it's a mythic or something. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, oh, sweet.
Nah.
I want that in my life.
Man, I think it's fine. I think you did a good job, Wizards. Good job. Thumbs
Woo,
up.
woo. I think it's fine. Whatever. It's playable.
All right.
It's playable. It's good. It's pickable. It's playable. Moving on. And Storm Rider Rig, our last card of the set review, the actual last card. We're not trolling anymore.
We're not going through all the basic lands.
No, we're not. And so for your 4 mana, it gets you +1/+1. But really, what you want to do is play 2 mana on turn 2, and then morph, and then attach it. And then from that point on, just bounce it around everything you play thereafter.
This card's not that bad.
No, I think this card's good.
Yeah.
This card's sweet. It's super playable. Play it in sealed 100%, and in limited, I can absolutely see it being
In
really
draft,
good.
yeah, this is a good draft card. Like I'm usually surprised that when equipment impresses me,
Yeah.
and they usually don't.
Well, they don't want equipment to be too good. You know
No,
what I
because they
mean?
were all insane before.
Well, I mean, and then they made the swords, and the swords were stupidly overpowered, and ever
All of
since
them, yeah.
yeah, and ever since the swords were just like, okay, equipment's crap for a while,
Yep.
and so it's been crap for a while. So you know, equipment that is like okay, we're just like, oh
This
my
impresses
God!
me. Like I'm like I might actually play with equipment because there's been equipment in standard or in this limited format for a while now, and I haven't seen one played ever. No one
No.
plays it. No
Nope.
one plays any of them.
No, because they're all terrible.
Yeah.
And you know, this at the very least is very, very good and limited, and I appreciate that. And at the very least, you know, it's something you can
Just
you
fast,
can pick,
yeah.
play, enjoy. It's awesome.
It's good.
So speaking of awesome, set's pretty sweet.
The set is great. I'm excited. Like
like it.
I think that it's going to give standard the shakeup it needs. It's definitely going to have limited the shakeup it needs because limited has been getting a little boring.
Yeah, I mean, limited obviously is just going to turn completely upside down at this point. And
I mean, it really will because it's cons into that and dragons and yeah.
And so we did there. But yeah, standard is definitely feeling like there's a lot of players. Standard with Fate Reforged, I don't think actually got enough time, and that's
No,
really weird for me to say because so many times over the years we have just begged Wizards for more cards faster. You know what I mean? Like if you could just rotate it faster, if you could just release things faster, we wouldn't have to sit around and like see Thragtusk for ages and ages and ages and Restoration Angel for ages and ages and ages. And they are increasing the turnaround of the sets, and I think that's great. But this one with just a
I
2-month
don't-
window feels too close.
Are they actually going to always be doing this?
Now, I don't think the 2-month window per se, but
No.
they're going to start releasing. You know, they're going to start doing the standard rotation of the
Yeah.
the big set and the little set, and then the old sets rotate out and blah blah blah. And I think that's really great. And ultimately, there's definitely some power in these cards. And one day, Cons is going to rotate out, and Fate Reforged is going to rotate out, and Dragons is still going to be with us. We should let even more of these cards shine, which I think is awesome. So I'm ready to play with some Dragons. I'm ready to battle the pre-release, and we hope you guys are too. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Check us out on Patreon if you want to support us. Until next time, I'm Evan Irwin.
Brad Nelson.
We tapped all those cards.
So you never had to.